Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta.
And thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy that you can hang out with us for a little bit. We only have one request, and that is that you openly listen to our conversation and you listen to it in a space of love and compassion and kindness. Kindness, kindness, kindness. We're not the chat that people want to swirl and see how mean and nasty they can be, because you're just not our kind of people. So thank you for thinking of us, but that's okay. You can go and be nasty to someone else. We're happy girls.
Yes, we are. Thanks for returning, everyone. If you are returning, if you're new, we just want to say welcome.
Welcome.
And as Gloria said, Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. So what do we do when we first start? We start by talking about what tea are we going to be chatting to today. So we are, before I forget, the routine is, if you like our videos, we hope you do, and you're watching it to the end, stay till the end.
Yes.
Hit the thumb icon.
Yes.
And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. We would love that.
Love it.
Love it. And then hit the bell icon, which is a notification that notifies you when our chats are ready to be seen.
Yes.
And we hope you all get excited about that.
Yes.
We do like that, okay? And the tea today is a good one, Yogi Skin Detox. And it says Soothing Rose Hibiscus Skin Detox. I love rose. So
Yes.
amazing.
It talks about graceful glow.
Yes, I love that. And the ingredients here, this is organic Yogi. It is a blend of herbs, green tea leaf, and what does this say? Rose petal. I'm trying to read them, my glasses on. Honey bush leaf, hibiscus flower, red clover leaf,
And flour.
and flower. Cardamom pod, orange peel, burdock root, dandelion root. I don't know what this one is. Yellow dock root. And the last one is stevia leaf. I like that.
Okay, this says pomegranate.
Oh, okay.
So it
Well,
even has a little pomegranate, which is, these are all nice flavors. Nice.
well, I don't see that on the back
I know.
ingredients, but there you go. That's what it has.
It's a little extra surprise.
Surprise, surprise. And it says yoga for a graceful glow.
Yes.
Yogi principles, and it's nice. I like this. Yogi is the
love
brand.
hibiscus.
Oh, we love
The
it.
smell is amazing.
And the rose
Yes,
really is the
it
thing
really
that
pops.
is the star.
Yes, it really pops. Gonna wake it up a little bit so we can smell it. Oh my God, it smells
Smells
amazing.
good.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Like it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And it has a good balance of rose and hibiscus.
Yes.
Neither one outshine the other,
Exactly.
which is nice. It's a very good balance. And you'll see that Yogi is a great brand with lots of different flavors of teas.
Yes, amazing. So as we always begin, our thoughts and prayers go out to the universe. Our wish is for a more loving, compassionate environment, from all of the small entities all the way up through man, all aspects. It's been pretty exciting. I can't remember the exact location, but due to the rains and the waters, like 1,500 little sea turtles just rolled off of the beach, and they're trying to get them to places where people can take care of them so that they can grow, and then they'll let them back out into the ocean. So even in the midst of all the chaos, there is still love and kindness. So our prayers is that we will all wake up, because mean and nasty is just not working for our planet. We have to stop. We have to be more loving and kind and compassionate, especially when it comes to our children. As you know, that's our big theme of the year, is our children, and being more conscious of our children. So as we talk about, how do we help our children show up and be sweet and loving, kind youth so that they can grow into be sweet and loving, kind adults? That is the critical mission. If you desensitize your child at a young age, when they grow up, they do things and they don't even realize the consequences of their actions.
Well, because it's so, it comes so naturally to them.
Yeah.
They've grown up doing it, that it's basically their everyday lifestyle.
Yes. You know, like myself, I'm like the sweet auntie, sweet grandma, sweet mom until you do something really bad. So my sister and I, we were out and there were some kids running around a store. There is a Kohl's store near my house, and I have yet to go inside it and it not look like a bomb has gone off in
Really?
it. Yes.
Wow.
Because the children in the community are allowed to run through the store. And, you know, I always ask the salesperson, what is up? And she's like, the parents don't watch their children. They just let them go off and do whatever they want. And so a little kid came by and he, you know, threw something. And I said, oh, excuse me, come here. And he looks at me and I go, why did you do that? That's not very nice. Now that little lady who is in her 60s is going to have to bend over and hurt her back to pick up something that you just threw. And so the mom comes over and she says something to him in the foreign language, and he says, sorry. And I said, no, not just sorry, pick it up. I made him pick it up. She had them folded. I told him, I said, no, put the sleeve, fold, because I used to work at Macy's. I know how to fold shirts. And I made him fold it and put it back. And I guarantee you that was the first time.
And how was the mother during this time?
Huh? She didn't say nothing. I think she didn't want to, you know, she didn't want a confrontation. And I wouldn't be mean or confrontational, but I would talk to her as a mom. And it's like, why are you raising your child to do things like this?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Because I watch sometimes when, so, you know, thinking about the mom and dad who bought their son a gun, who took the gun to school and killed 4 of his classmates. And initially the mom was like, I wouldn't do anything different. I didn't do nothing. And then they said, okay, we're going to prosecute you as the parent because you bought the gun. And now they're upset. I mean, they're going to jail for like 20 years. They're now thinking, oh my God, because they understand the consequences.
That's the thing. If people have no consequences, they don't understand. Like the child you said,
Yeah.
had you been someone else who really didn't want to do anything about it, just let the child be, there's no consequences, right?
And he would have done it again.
Right.
Because I'm sure his mom takes him with her when she goes shopping. So he would have just picked up and where he left off. I bet you every time he goes inside a Kohl's, he's going to look for me. And I hope and pray that there will be a chance that I can see him and I can wave at him. Because I want him to understand cause and effect, but I also want him to know that it's done in a spirit of love.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to change who you are. I just don't want you to grow up and be a mean, nasty individual.
Exactly. And you're lucky that the mother didn't get mad with you.
I know.
Because I've had it one time where when my son was very young, we were in the Howard's shoe store? Or
Yes.
There was a shoe store
Right.
in the mall. And my son we're trying to find a pair of shoes for my son. And we kept hearing these people in the background talking to their kids in a really horrible manner, tone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they were using the F word every so often. And that, oh my God, that set me off.
Of
That
course.
really set me off. And I usually don't confront people, but I really had to go and confront them.
Yeah.
And you know, they came back and said, what business is it of yours to tell us how to raise our kids? And I said, you are yelling really loudly for everyone to hear.
Thank you.
And you are saying the F word, every other word, for everyone to hear. And this is a child's shoe store.
Yes.
And they were still yelling at me.
Yeah. I mean, in situations like that, I would have said, you know, if you don't want to have me confront you, take your kid outside to the car. I mean, I tell people all the time. I remember one time my son was having a moment because he wanted some Cheerios and I said no. And then he took the Cheerios and put them in the cart because I had him to the edge. And I said, I told you no. So I took him out the cart and he just fell out. And I thought to myself, oh my God. However, now these days they would probably call the police on me. I told the clerk, I said, do me a favor, watch my baby. I'll be right back. Don't let nobody touch him. And I went and I got me a little bottle of water. And I came back and I poured the water on him. He goes, "Stop it, you're drowning me." And I said, "So are you going to stop yelling?" And he goes, "Uh-huh." I said, "We're over this?" He says, "No Cheerios today, right?" I said, "No Cheerios today."
He knew.
Yes.
You meant business.
I meant business. But, I didn't spank him. I didn't yell at him. I had to shock him out of that because he was just out of control.
Yeah.
So there are things you can do that will lessen the effects.
Right.
But most importantly, come at it at a case of love and teach your children respect. Parents are not teaching their children respect of anyone. People will walk up to me and they'll say, "This is Gloria." And I go, "I'm too old. Miss Gloria." I was watching Sherry and she was talking to a lady and the lady was 100 and Sherry called her Miss whatever her name is. It's just a level of respect that you have to teach your children. And in this respect, I love my Asian sisters and brothers in their community because they love their seniors. They lift them up. They don't try and hide them away like, getting old is a
chore or a burden.
A burden, like most of the time, like my husband and I were always talking about when the day we decide to retire, where you want to go. And I'm like, Hawaii. I want to be around people who love people just for being
You go to Hawaii, I'm going to come and visit you there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you continue to raise your children, be conscious of what you're putting into them because I promise you, everything you do and say from the time they go, they are recording.
Yes, they are.
And they're going to put it right back to you. So if you don't want them saying the F word, don't say it around them. Because at the most inopportune moment, they will start singing the F song. So be aware, take care, and love your children. Teach them respect. That is what's most important. And the one thing, we're going to spend a little bit more time on this next week. Have you noticed that things in life are just shifting and changing? So we're talking a lot about social media and the world of technology. We talked about that last week. Well, now they're rolling AI into it. So little things, like Rosetta and I were talking about Facebook. So Facebook is owned by Meta. So Meta has introduced Meta AI to the Facebook app. So in the past, if you wanted to search Facebook, you just did a little search.
I know, search within Facebook.
Yeah. Now the icon shifts to a different little
squiggly round thing.
Yeah, which is Meta AI. So now when you ask a Facebook question, you're not just getting Facebook, it's going out. So I don't know. Yes, we're going to talk a lot about it because like Siri, I used to love Siri because Siri only recognized my voice. She only did my commands. Siri is out of control now. She does what she wants. And this new thing, if you talk text with Siri, before it would just talk text it. Now it starts sending it. The minute you stop talking, it says sending. And I'm like, no, don't send. So you have to hit cancel. So all of your dictation goes away. So yesterday I told her she was being stupid. I was like, so things are shifting and we're going to dig into it a little bit more next week and tell you about it. Now, I don't know where you have to be to not recognize the name of John Batiste. I learned of him years ago because of his New Orleans background and flavor. He is a wonderful musician and I have listened to his music for years. I love his music. I love him, the essence of him. And I remember at one point people thought that, because he's very flamboyant, he loves to wear good clothes. And so they thought he was gay. Mm-hmm. And then people are like, no, he's not gay. He's married. And you're like, really? He puts fiery colors on the tips of his hair. He's just, the clothing he wears, it is not the everyday attire. So Rosetta, my girl, says to me, I want you to watch American Symphony. It's on Netflix right now, and it's about John Batiste. So I'm thinking, it's musical, and American Symphony, what can it be about? Oh my God. I was jamming to the music and tears were streaming down my face at the same time. I became quite emotional because John Batiste had the most exciting time of his life and the most devastating time of his life at the same time. And we, the American, international, world people, had no idea what was going on.
No idea. And this is when I say to everyone, do not judge people by their situation at the time that you see them, because you don't know what's going on in their life. Like a lot of people are judging people, how mean she is, or whatever. They make
she's
remarks,
snappy.
right? Or that woman she's got a chip on her shoulder, or I don't know what's wrong with that. You never know behind closed doors. And John Batiste is a great one for hiding it.
Yes.
You would never ever know. And I only knew about him. I probably knew after you, because the only reason I knew about him is, one, because I watched Colbert Show.
Right, and he was the music director for quite a while. Yes,
music director that I loved him.
Yes.
And then I would see him at all the music shows. And I said, oh my God, I had no clue how amazing and talented this guy was.
And he also used to hang out at New York at the subways. He'd be out in the streets in New Orleans. He would be like out, and he has this little portable keyboard thing that he plays, and he'll just be jamming with it. And you might see him with Lenny Kravitz, or you might see him with, John Bovey, or just different people, and you have no idea. And then he would say, at a certain part of my life, I was living in Washington Heights, which is a suburb, and I don't want to say the word ghetto, less affluent,
right?
Eating beans, because that's how poor he was. But that person, you would see him in the streets, and he would just be so full of life and so full of light. He is one of the most amazing men I have ever had the pleasure.
As a person as well as a creative artist. He is so talented. And if you've not seen American Symphony, we're going to talk a little about this, but you might want to pause and go and watch it. But if you have, it's about John Batiste, his journey through his time when he was writing the American Symphony, and also his personal life with his wife. It was his girlfriend at the time, because they weren't married. They only got married in February 2022, right?
Right.
So it's her trials and tribulations, because she had cancer for a very long time, way back when.
Right.
And I didn't know, but they knew each other from when they met them in music school or something. Long time ago. And they've been together for a very long time, and they just decided February 2022 that they wanted to get married.
Yeah.
So it's a recent marriage, and it goes through the trials of her battling cancer, leukemia. And it's pretty devastating, because here he is having to...
And he got the news about her sickness, and the news that he had been nominated for 11 Grammys
right,
at the same time.
Right.
So on one side of his life, he's like, oh my God. He was actually in shock. He kept saying, nominated for Album of the Year, John Batiste. He's like, nominated for Song of the Year, John Batiste. He's like, are they just saying my name? It's almost as if he thought somebody's trying to punk me.
Right.
As it cannot be real. And then on the other side, to have the person that he loves deeply, his best friend, going through such a traumatic situation. And she's going through rounds of chemo. I think at a certain point they even did something to work on her bone marrow to try and see if they could shift that and help her feel better. And he would be out trying to work on the symphony. He would run Zoom sessions with these musicians. He knew of them, but they weren't all together. And he would talk about what he was doing. And he would say things like, I wrote the symphony, I've written the music, but I need your input. I need you to come in to it. And then he would go and he would call her. And one time he called her and she told him that the bed was just full of blood. And I'm thinking to myself, would I have kept going? Or would I have said, forget this, I got to go? But she didn't want him to stop. She wanted him to keep doing it. And as soon as she would get another burst of energy, she would start painting. Painting was her outlet. It allowed her to just stay focused on something positive, stay focused on something good. I was just, both of them. They are both equally magnificent human beings.
In their own right.
In their
they
own
really
right.
are. And I had no clue, just like you, what this whole thing was about. And the only reason why I came across it was because I follow Michelle Obama on Instagram, and she had posted something, go and watch this.
Right.
Because she's been with John Batiste many times.
Yes, sitting
playing,
well. Yeah, he's playing the
Yeah.
piano. Yes.
Yeah, so that's when I said, gotta watch this, American Symphony. And it's fairly new on Netflix. It's
Yeah.
only been on Netflix for a few months.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched it, then go and watch it.
Yes.
But it is
You will not be disappointed.
really amazing, and
Right.
it just shows you the brilliance. And it was actually probably filmed like over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Because it shows them before.
Because there's snow,
Right.
and then there's no snow. So, they're out, like they went sledding, and he had never gone sledding. And I thought, how can you be? That's impossible. I mean, we were crazy. We used to sled down the front of my grandmother's house. And if we had sled too hard, we would have just rolled into the street. Now, there weren't a lot of cars in the area, but my grandmother almost had a heart attack when she came outside. Because we were like, wee! So he got an opportunity to experience that, and he was like, I don't want to do that. And then there's a part where he's walking, and he puts down a log so he can walk across. I was like, how deep can the water be? Just slosh in the water. But like I told you, he's a well fine dressed man, and so he put the log and he stepped across, and then he went and sat. He grounded himself in the positivity. So this symphony we're talking about, he comes into Carnegie Hall. This is not just any old symphony.
Symphony's
This
Carnegie
is
Hall.
Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And he's walking down through the back, and his wife is up top, and her hair is growing back.
Yes.
So I was just like, oh my God, she's doing better. And she says to the person she's next to, and I couldn't remember if that was Anna Wintour or if Anna Wintour was when they were down below, Miss Vogue herself. But she said, this is the first time in a year I've been out. So that was like a year at least that this whole process took place.
Right.
And so he walks down through the crowd, and he stands on the stage, and he accepts the applause, and he does the first song, and it is magnificent. And you just aren't going to believe this. And he says, just before he starts playing, God is good. All things through God is good. And so he does the song, and then he starts punching up his little pad. And the pad is what sequences up the sound of the keyboard. And it goes dead. They have no power.
Yeah, the power's gone out,
Yeah.
and everyone's saying the power's out, the power's out.
The singers are standing back in front of the microphones. I mean, the whole orchestra is just like, there's no power. So, you know what John does? He starts to just play. And his hands and fingers move so fast. No one out in the audience knew that they had no power on the floor. Yeah. That was a amazing aha moment for me. And the next aha moment for me was when the Native American musicians started to make the sounds that I grew up as a child hearing, because when we did not have Mexicans, Latinos, in our area. It was just Black people, white people, Native American Indians. And like if we needed rain, they would get out and they would do the rain dance. And we as the kids, we would dance with them. And hearing those chants as part of his symphony was just, oh my God, it just filled my heart. It was amazing. And for John Batiste to be that conscious, to bring in the sounds of such a strategic cultural community was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this documentary was just happy and sad all at the same time.
Yeah.
It was just, and you got to really understand him as a person, his wife, and really get to know them deeply.
Yes.
I really truly believe that she keeps coming, the wife keeps having these, like, gets better and stuff. I truly believe that they're both very, very, they just, like, so deeply, like, I don't know, they're just into their faith, and so deep into, like, there's, like, when she's better,
Yeah.
she's a very, very positive lady.
Yeah.
She
and
really
she said,
is.
if I make it through this, if I can make it beyond this cancer, I am going to live the best positive life that I can live. And from what we're seeing on the outside, that is what she's doing. I love when John and Salika got married and they gave each other twist ties.
Twist ties.
Green twist ties. And he took the one for her and he formed it into a ring and put it on her finger. And she took the other one and she did some of it and then she twisted it. I thought that was so cute because it really isn't about the monetary.
No, it's not.
The diamonds and all of that stuff. So we got to see that. We got to see her when she found out that the cancer was back and it was going to be a rough bout. The doctors, they were monitoring her, and he would go to the hospital with her and he would get into bed with her and he would just, if he could have gotten in her skin,
he would do it.
I felt like he would have. If there was anything in his power to take this away from her and to put it on himself, he would have done it.
I love that both of them, especially John, they love so deeply.
Yeah.
They love each other so deeply that he would, like, just, I'm telling you, he was there the whole time.
Yes.
He was, like Gloria said, if he could, he would take the pain away and put it on him and have the pain himself to relieve the pain from his wife. Yeah.
So he and Salika were walking down the aisles of the hospital corridor. Yes. And I have done that many times where, when you're with someone and they're not feeling well, or, once time I allowed cement to touch my knee. Won't do that again. And I had to have knee surgery, and I remember my husband walking me. So I had flashbacks while I was looking at that. And she said to him, now what do we do? And he goes, we do the dance. And they would touch, like he'd touch her shoulder and she'd touch him. She'd touch his head, he'd touch her cheeks. And then she swirled around with her little IV bag. That kind of unconditional love, if we could put that in a spray and spray the world with it.
Oh my God.
Life would just be magnificent for us all.
I tell you, love, and this might be ironic, but it's really true thing about love makes the world go round.
It really does.
Everyone says that, but it's just, people just say it just to say it.
This is a visual.
This is what it is.
Yes. So she is still recovering, and he goes to the Grammys. And, he has already won 5 awards, and he does a performance, Freedom, one of my favorite songs of his. And he is jamming, and she's sitting at home watching him. She is so proud. And she's like, he's already won 4. We're happy. We're happy. We're very, very happy. And he's sitting there, and then they said, album of the year, We Are. They didn't even say his name because everybody knew which album. And, he just, and what I really, really love about him, when he takes the stage, whether it's to accept an award or to perform, he just expresses by opening his arms, and he leans back, and he's just absorbing it. And I believe all of that went into him creating this symphony. You have to watch it. We promise you will not be disappointed. And you will see, as we're talking, the true meaning of love. I can't tell you. I've watched it many times. When she got here today, I just have it on in the background because it just inspires me to want to figure out, how do we get that level of love in the world, especially in our children? I got to spend some time with my granddaughter over the weekend, and she is just pure love. She don't care if you look like Cuckoo Magoo. If you say goo goo gaga, she just laughs and smiles. She has no sense of color. She has no sense of harmful misbehavior. She's just open and receptive. And that is what it was really interesting, because I watched it, and I'm looking at her and I go, that's what they feel. That openness, that it's just so pure.
There's nothing that's tainting their love for each other, and that's what I love. And especially we say with children, there's nothing tainting them with any thoughts of hatred or meanness, because they're a blank slate, as we said. When you're born with a blank slate. They just know happiness, laughing. If you love them, if you feed them, if you play with them, they just love that. That's all they want.
Absolutely.
So as parents, if you're watching, that's what we need in life. We need that specific kind of love, and just not to taint their slate. It's just all too many times. We just see kids that just grow up like unloving, mean-spirited children. And why?
And where did the toggle occur that being a loving, kind, respectful individual become a bad thing? You know, when I was young, it was all about, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a nurse, I didn't ever want to be a lawyer. That was just like, made my head hurt just thinking about it. But I never wanted to be an influencer. I never wanted to be someone who based their existence on what I said was cool. And I think that is one of the things in upcoming chats, we're going to start dwelling into that. You know, would you prefer to be a female astronaut or a fake female with fake body parts? And fake body parts has $1 billion. And the teachers and the astronauts and the female nurses and the female doctors, not so much. How did that shift? So the most important thing about American Symphony is seeing how a person can have the highest high and the lowest lows at the same moment, and not become mean or nasty or jaded. I never once heard, what's her name, Salika? I never once heard Salika say, why me? I never heard her once say, this is not fair. I never heard her say, you know, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I give up. All I ever heard her say was, this is what's going on today, and I know it's going to be okay. And then he would just wrap her in love. So we hope you will not just watch it for watch sakes, but you will watch it to have the experience of seeing true love. He is amazing.
Yeah, and it made me think when I was watching that, like, all marriages need to be like that. That's what I'm thinking. They are really an example of what a real marriage is about. And I was like, even though me and my husband, we have an amazing marriage, I think that I could learn something from this couple. They really, really are a good example. And please go out and watch. Don't go out. Go to your it's not going out, but turn to your, if you have Netflix. Because I always hear people say, well, I switched off Netflix, or I turned it off, because there's just nothing to watch. And I'm like, are you joking me? How many shows I've watched that are brilliant on Netflix? And we're going to do a talk one day, and I want to do this on the great shows that I have been watching on Netflix. That's not just shoot 'em up or just
non-violent.
Some really great shows that are deep and teach us stuff. So we're going to do that one day, one of our future chats, definitely.
Because this taught me a lot. Like you said, you know, next year we'll be 30 years married to my husband. And there, you know, when you start getting to a certain age, you start thinking about, if I have to take care of him, or if he has to take care of me, what is that going to look like? And when I was watching John and his wife, I was like, wow. There was no, like I said, it was just not, it was an unspoken word. They didn't talk a lot. They just did for each other.
They just did, and it shows in the actions, because you see a lot of times there are husbands and wives that go through really bad times in their life, or when someone is sick.
Right.
They actually start resenting the other person.
Yes.
Or they feel like, why am I the one? Why did it happen to me?
Right.
But this is not the case with them. So all I can say is watch American Symphony.
Yes. And John and Salika, thank you for showing us all the true meaning of love.
Yep.
Amazing. Okay. So if you hear somebody in your environment say, oh, it's just bad weather, just tell them, say, please don't make me smack you with my mind. Not physically, don't hit anybody. Because the weather patterns, I mean, Nebraska, 78 tornadoes.
Oh my God.
And they're expecting more to start Sunday. The weather is just, like I said before, when I was a little girl, tornadoes would, you'd see, like, it would just be like clouds. And then they would start spinning, and then it would turn black. And you'd think to yourself, that's not really cool. Why are you black? What are you going to do? And then it would start swirling. And then it would, as its path, anything that was near the funnel would just kind of spin away. I've seen cows in the funnel, particles of houses, greenery, things like that. But they would just, they would do that, and then it would hop. I'm being told that the tornadoes that are the paths of the tornadoes now, there's no hop. It comes down and it stays down, and it just takes out everything.
Wow.
Takes out apartment complex roofs. It's not just taking little roof lines. And then you see pictures, and it's just like devastation. The hard part is that, number one, these people, luckily by the grace of God, are a community, and they're trying to help each other to clean up. The bad thing is when they tell you it's going to be completely demolished. You can't go back in, so you can't go back and get your memories. This one lady was like, I didn't know what to grab. A lot of people are now putting together a bag, and in that bag they have like the family Bible, which has everybody's birth dates and your hair from your first haircut, memories like that. And they're putting pictures, and they put them in this bag. So in the event, because like even here when we had the fires, they knock on the door and the sheriff's like, get out. You're like, but, and they're like, get out. Sometimes they don't even let the people put clothes on. They have to get out in their pajamas. And some are very fortunate. They come back and their house is standing, but many times it's gone.
Everything's wiped out.
It's just wiped out. And that's what the people are experiencing. And I cannot help but believe in my heart that if we could all just calm down and shift the energy of the humans on the planet, it might shift the energy of the planet itself. Because, starting another war is not the answer. Having, our young people, on one hand, I'm very proud of them for wanting to stand up against oppressions. However, don't use violence to counteract violence. So you don't like the war, but you're going to go to school and you're going to attack the people. What happened to nonviolent protest? So you have to figure out what to do in these communities. So just think about it. If we could all just channel John and Salika and that love, could we shift some of the negativity on the planet? Because Mother Nature, I always said, Mother Nature will not be toyed with. And now Mother Nature is like, I'm here.
Angry. Mother Nature is angry.
Yes, because we're not taking care of the planet.
Right.
We're so busy with this greed. You know, we talk sometimes about the billionaires. We have billionaires here in California who could wipe out homelessness, who could wipe out hunger, who could wipe out the fact that there are countries with no clean water. Just wipe it out. So we know that the abilities are here. We just can't seem to get people to stop trying to be in control and in power.
Right.
Those tornadoes and the states that didn't get hammered with tornadoes because of the rain associated with that, massive floods. So please be careful. If you see standing water, don't try and think, oh, the cement's there, it's not that deep. You don't know that, and you can drive into a situation and make it really, really bad. So weather conditions, I talked to my godmother, and she's in Omaha, Nebraska, and she was like, dear God, she goes, I thought it was the end. She had never seen funnels like that before in her life.
Wow. And I know someone that moved here for a short period of time and is now going back to Nebraska.
Right.
I'm like, I did. Wow. Okay. Now hearing about that, I'm not sure about.
Yeah. But I know a lot of, it also has to do with, the economy of scale. We were talking earlier about inflation. People are like, loans, interest rates are just, luckily they are flat. They're not going down like we want, but they're flat. But all of that, it's just like the funnels of the weather. It's just all swirling around. And you don't hear as much good news as you used to hear. I mean, back in the day when we were kids, it was all about, I got an A, I got an A. Kids don't, they don't say nothing about their grades anymore because it's like it's not valued.
Right.
And that's what we have to do, is we have to get back to our children, which we started the chat about, so that our children will have a planet to live on. Because if we keep being mean and nasty and heating the planet up, it's not going to be good for our children.
Well, we need to talk about that more because, as you know it, kids can do it if it's a society-wide thing that's been done, not just one or two people that do it. It has to be through community and the environment, because kids follow. If it's just a way of life, then people would do it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of countries that are very, very healthy, and it's a way of life.
Yeah.
Or there's like we were talking about how you said that the Asian culture, they actually really take care of the elderly. There's lots of communities that do that. Yeah. But it's a way of life.
Right.
If it's not practiced, people are not going to, all of a sudden decide they want to do that. Yeah. It has to be everyone doing it together, that you'll follow in the footsteps.
And then one of our future chats, we're going to talk about, if you travel outside the United States, the food quality is very different. Mm. I had a friend yesterday say to me, well, they're just slowly killing us in America, because she had just gotten back from Europe. And like here, how we can't eat carbs. She ate pasta every day, didn't gain any weight, no swelling, no inflammation. So we're going to, my health coach girl over here, we're going to delve into that a little bit and see if we can find certain things that we can suggest for people to do here in America. Because, it's not, back in the day, if you saw GM for General Mills, it meant it was a high quality product. That's not the case today. So we're going to dwell in and find out, if you don't eat the Cheerios, what else can you do that's heart healthy? Mm. What else can you do that, I have 10 minutes, I have to get some food in my child, what can I give them? And see what we can do to help. So that's what we're going to do. So I hope we taught you something. I hope we sensitize you to the true meaning of love. I can watch that show over and over.
Me too. I kept rewinding parts of it.
Yes, I did too, because I would hear something and I go, what did he say? And I would back it up and I would listen. So it's not something to do when you got a lot of things to do, but it is.
Watch it and be present when you're watching it, not when you're doing a thousand other things.
Yes, make it a me time. This is just for me, and I promise you will love it. So, my name's Gloria Webb Williams. My company is Ancient Stones Nurture Natural. I'm your all natural mineral makeup girl right here in Santa Clara, California. And one of the things that watching John and Salika showed me was there were times when she was so sick, yet her face was just so angelic. And one of the things, I'm always talking about hydration, hydration, hydration. I also want you to figure out a way to calm the mind. If you calm the mind, you can calm the environment in which you're in. I know that if you can calmly meditate, that will also lessen the stress lines on your face. It will resonate throughout the body, but you'll see it reflected on the face. But it's something that I think you almost have to be taught, because I try to meditate all the time, and my brain will go, did you turn off the stove? Did you remember to take did you take this out? Did you do this? And I go, stop it. Woosah, woosah, woosah. So I know it's not an easy thing to do, yet for your mind, your body, and your spirit, I am recommending meditation. It will take the stress lines away. It will give you a level of calmness. And as I improve in my process, I am learning what that feels like. Because many times we're in such a rat race. We're the little guinea pig on the wheel, and we're constantly moving. So it's not just about applying makeup. It's preparing the skin for the receipt of the makeup. And to receive it, make sure you're hydrated, moisturized, and woosah'd. Gloria Webb Williams, Ancient Stones Nurture Natural.
All right. Thank you for that. That was very good. Thank you. And I'm Rosetta Chow, your certified health coach, educator, and speaker. If I'm speaking, I'm educating. And I'd like to talk about not about health and wellness, but you might know that, or you might not know, it's not all about what you ingest in your body and the activities that you do, but it's also very important for your health to have social relationships. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because there are many positives of having social relationships. Number one is it brings you joy and happiness.
Yes.
Right? Joy and happiness to surround yourself with friends. Number two, you get support and help from your friends.
Yes.
If you are feeling down or you just need someone to pick you up, then who do you turn to but your good friends or family members that you like to lean on?
Yes.
Number three, I'd like to say you feel loved and accepted. Hopefully the people you surround yourself with, your social relationships, whether it's your family or your good friends,
yes,
they will love and accept you with no judgment.
Yes.
Right? That's what we want.
Yes.
And number four, we are always learning and growing, right, with our friends, because they could bring, new experiences.
Yes.
New skills that you've never thought about.
Yes.
And you'd be, I like that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to do that. Or they could
try that.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
Or they could have traveled somewhere.
Yes.
And they bring back their experiences. Oh, I went here and this is what they did, and you're like, oh wow, I got to try that.
Yes.
So I always say that part of having a good social positive relationships is it brings up your good hormones, serotonin, and it just gives you better mood. And if you're happy all the time, it's like a medicine for your soul, because it reduces the amount of cortisol that's been brought, which is the bad hormones. You don't want too much cortisol in your body. And I'm going to go back, like Gloria said, to this John Batiste and his wife.
Yes.
Their life is just full of love and happiness. And
in spite of the conditions.
Yes, in spite of the conditions that she's not feeling well, and she goes through all these things that she has to do when her leukemia comes back.
Right.
So what I say is, we all have to be surrounded by positive people.
Yes.
And I tell you, if someone one of your friends in that circle is not positive, let them go.
Yes.
Just let them go.
Yes.
Because life is too short for all this.
Yes.
And that's what I say. Social relationships. That's so important. And that's part of the puzzle. Because we want everything, not just what we ingest and physical activity, but social and positivity as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Rosetta Chow, Simply Health, and I say your health matters.
Absolutely. So we hope you learned something new today. We hope that you will check out future upcoming chats. We gave you a few hints of what's coming up. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us for a little bit. And we feel the love in the room and we send it back to you. Mwah! Just bubbling over. And may the grace of God, Source, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whoever you look up to, surround you in love. We want you to feel John and his wife's love because it is amazing, amazing. And we wish you a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this chat, which I hope you have, please consider hitting that thumb icon. Tells us you liked it. And why not consider subscribing to our channel for all our amazing chats.
Yes.
And hit the bell icon.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you so much, everyone. We are Silicon Valley Girls, Chat Over Tea.
And remember to always keep smiling. Bye.
Take care.